Hello, all you Islanders. It is cruise news time, and we have two awesome stories for you today. First, for the first time in over a year and a half, a cruise ship visits the island of Jamaica. How awesome is that? We're going to talk about that. Plus, there is a cruise line who has had their great restart since COVID, and they've been cruising for 1 year. It is a big player in the game. Do you know it? That's going to be a guess. But we will talk about this cruise line who has been cruising for 1 year. What an accomplishment. Let's talk about everything right now on Island Time. A big hello to all you Islanders. We are so happy that you're here. We hope that you're having a great day. We are so excited for tonight. 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. You and I, we have a date. We're going to spend some time together talking about cruising, talking about your cruises coming up. What are you doing on those cruising? Tips, tricks, answering questions, playing games, all of it. Tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The easiest way to be reminded of that is if you are subscribed, ring the bell. As soon as I go live, bam, it will pop up a notification on your phone. If you are not a subscriber, and I know we have many who watch us, but maybe don't know how to subscribe or haven't done that yet, please consider doing so. Click that subscribe button, that red button, hit the bell beside it, and anytime we upload content, whether it's recorded or live, you will be notified. I can't wait to see you tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Let's get into the news because there's a lot of it, and we have two awesome stories for you today. The first of them revolving around Jamaica, and some awesome news for Jamaica. Jamaica was one of the ports that did not initially come back with the other Caribbean islands as the U.S. cruise industry came back in late June and in July. COVID hit them tough. They backed off some and did not allow cruise ships, even though they wanted to. The locals pleaded with the government, please let them in, because it is a way of living for many people living on the island. But they didn't. That news has changed starting yesterday. That's right, Carnival Cruise Line on the Carnival Sunrise docked in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. The first time a cruise ship has docked into Jamaica for a year and a half. What great news that is, and what it means for locals. The locals have gone through COVID just like you and I have. They've worried about family members, maybe themselves. They've worried about their livelihood. And finally, hopefully, they can see their lives return to some sort of normalcy. It was awesome to see yesterday the pictures that passengers and the government and locals posted and shared with us that showed passengers getting off the ship and enjoying beaches and enjoying all the nature and shopping in Jamaica. And the locals had a huge smile on their face because they knew that part of what made them who they were and their culture and their society and the service that they bring to cruise ship passengers and tourists is back. We are so happy that it is back, and it's awesome to see the images. The Carnival Sunrise, of course, was the ship to kind of make this history in the return to cruising. The Carnival Sunrise is ship number 7 that has returned in the Carnival fleet. Carnival, remember, has the egregious goal to return the entire fleet by the end of the year. That is a huge goal. No other cruise line in the United States has a goal of bringing back the entire fleet this year, but Carnival has set that goal. So far, they're on pace to do it. Every time they said a ship was going to return to service, that ship has indeed returned to service. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes and see if Carnival Cruise Line is able to do that. It's going to be interesting to see. But let's get back to Jamaica. The return of cruise ships to Jamaica was welcomed by all. Like I said, the locals were celebrating, cheering as the ship came in. The government, who had been hesitant for several months to bring cruise ships back, were excited that cruise ships were back. They know that the locals depend on the business there. In 2018, Jamaica had the third highest number of direct spending from crew, from passengers, and from crew lines, netting $245 million, creating over 9,000 jobs and creating wages of over $50 million. Cruising is alive and well in Jamaica now, and hopefully the locals are starting to see their lives and their normalcy get back to what it was pre-COVID. There are not ships in Jamaica every day yet, but this is the first step. Here's what Carnival CEO, president had to say. Christine Duffy, president of Carnival Cruise Line, she said, we are delighted to be the first cruise ship to return to Jamaica and to offer guests an opportunity to experience all the country's beauty. On behalf of Carnival, I would like to personally thank the Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Health and Wellness and our partners for working with us to bring safe cruising back to Jamaica. And that's exactly what happened. It took a long time to do, took months to do, but cruising is back to Jamaica. Have you been to Jamaica before is my question. That is our question of the day. Have you been to Jamaica? You may have gone to Montego Bay. You may have gone to Ocho Rios. And you could go anywhere in between because the island is small enough that you can drive different places. If you have gone to Jamaica, what did you do? I know some people choose to stay on in Jamaica. One of the greatest thrills of my life, I was scared, but I did it, was ziplining. Amanda and I ziplined in the rainforest. It was just an awesome excursion, and it was a thrill. That's been 4 or 5 years ago. I think there were about 8 different lines in the excursion, but we had a blast. What did you do, and what would you recommend that islanders do when they go? Because we're starting to see cruise ships return again. Let's get to our second story now, as it is one to celebrate. There is a cruise line that is celebrating the 1-year anniversary of cruising during COVID, or they like to say post-COVID. And it's just remarkable to think about the progress that has been made and the impact that MSC Cruise Lines has made across the world, including on cruise lines that you and I cruise here from the United States. MSC started their first cruise on August the 16th of 2020. They have been cruising for 1 year. August 16th of 2020, they were the first cruise line, the first major cruise line to bring back a ship. And I remember it. I remember that day, and even U.S. media covering this, saying that we should not be doing this. This is not going to end well. And here we are 1 year later. The MSC Grandiosa was the first ship to come back and to basically be a trial run, a test of all the protocols and the actions that MSC had worked to put in. MSC says COVID mitigation efforts set the standard for the industry and paved the way for more lines to restart, and we could not agree more. Many of the cruise lines, including Carnival Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean International, Norwegian, all have modeled their protocols after what MSC set a year ago. All the cruise lines were watching as they set sail a year ago to see, is what they're trying to do going to work? And there were trial and error. They did have situations much like what's happening now in the United States of cases on board. But U.S. cruise lines saw their mitigation practices work, their protocols work, and what they request from their passengers, both pre-cruise and during the cruise, work. So honestly, all of us owe a huge thank you to MSC and their willingness to, I don't want to say risk, but it was a risk a year ago to put a cruise ship in the water with passengers, but to really have this big test on what exactly needs to happen in order for cruising to resume. A year later, many cruise lines are still in the early stages of restarting their fleets. MSC has 10 of their 19 ships sailing. So they've been cruising for a year and they don't have all their ships back, but they are headed that way. Many of the line's ships will resume operations in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully by the end of the year, all 19 ships will be in operation. And they've done so much in shipbuilding. They have 2 new ships that have come on board as well. They have switched power for their new ships to LNG, much like Carnival Cruise Line has for the Mardi Gras and the Celebration and the new XL class of ships. And so today, hats off to MSC for all their contributions to cruising in 2020 and now in 2021. We absolutely cannot wait to see you tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We will talk and discuss all things cruising. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you tonight right here on Island Time.